We're ready.
Okay, again, Rich Kunz, Southwestern Industries. I'm going to give a detailed presentation on the ProtoTrack milling system. This particular machine maintains full manual capability. If you have to do something by hand and use the hand wheels, you're able to do that. You can program it using conversational programming format for either simple 2-axis format, X and Y, and maintain manual capability on Z, or you can program full 3-axis CNC control. So the startup procedure for the machine is walking around to the back to turn on the incoming 220 power. That brings power into the machine, coming over to the CNC control, turning on the power to the pendant. Okay, so the system boots up, goes into current memory. Main screen here tells you what functions are turned on. You hit the check system key here, and it brings you to the main menu or page 1 of the book. So the interesting thing about this type of a machine is you're not able to use it manually because it's an electronic machine. So you have to be in a mode of operation that allows you to turn those handles. So to give you a brief description here of the main menu, the green dialog box is going to be prompting you to make selections. Select the mode of operation, so digital readout would be full manual capability. The next mode is a program mode where you go in there and write a program. One program is contained in current memory, and then when you're finished with that program, you're either going to save that to a USB jump drive or delete the program. And then the setup mode is going to be for identifying your tool information, telling you what size the tools are, the location of the tool, how long it is, things like that there. It'll give you a representation of the tool path so you can get a quick view of the part you're about to cut before you go in there and actually run the part. The run mode, that'll make the part run automatically. And then the last mode of operation is program in and out. And this allows you to either open or retrieve programs from that USB jump drive or save programs. Regular numeric keypad. When you enter dimensions on the track, everything defaults to positive. There's a positive and negative key, so you can select that. If you need a negative dimension, it's just on or off. The set keys, these are like entry keys on a computer. Okay? You call out a dimension, you have to select an entry. There's incremental versus absolute entries. I think for the most part, we're going to stick with absolute entries. There's not a lot here to discuss about the incremental key. You have a override key that will override F for feed. So when you're feeding, you can bump that up or down in 10% increments. If you switch over to S for speed, the spindle RPM, you can bump that up or down in 5%. Go and stop. If you really get uncomfortable or in a bind, you hit the emergency stop, and it will shut down power to the CNC as well as the spindle. So you want to be paying attention to that. Even when you use the emergency stop switch, if you release it once you're carrying on, you haven't lost your program, you're set up. So a few things here, if I want to just use the machine manually, I go into digital readout mode. And so now the hand wheels, X and Y, have either fine or coarse resolution. So coarse moves around at a pretty good clip. When I go to F for fine, moves it a little bit slow. There's about a 4-to-1 ratio. So there's your X. And if you note this here, so when you move from your datum in direction X, coming into this location here is positive, and obviously in the opposite direction, you have negative. Y coming towards you would be negative, going away would be positive. So so we just don't display the sign when it's a positive. And then Z is going to be very critical, so Z coming down is negative. Whether you're moving the quill independently of the entire head by activating the jog key and instructing the Z to go in a negative direction. So the jog allows you to move the machine automatically without turning the hand. So Z is now in a negative direction. If I hit the positive key, it'll go the opposite direction. You have limit switches that limit the total travel of the machine. For that jog function, you can select the jog, X, Y, or Z. And then if you wanted to change the ratio that it feeds at, you go to that feed key, slow that down. So now you're turning the spindle on. Things of that nature there. So get that a little bit closer. So I want to turn the spindle on. So we have forward and reverse, but I don't know what RPM I want to turn it on at. So down here on the selection menu, you have your spindle speed, and you can select an RPM anywhere from 60 to 40. 40 RPM to 5,000. So maybe we'll just plug in 1,000. And you have to complete the command by pressing set. So when I turn the spindle on, so there's your 1,000 RPM. And then I can take the spindle speed and I can bump that up in 5% increments. When I want to shut the spindle off, the spindle's controlled by the motor and it will actually brake the motor as well. So we just shut that off, it brakes the motor. This is also a brake, but this is a brake for holding the spindle in location if you needed to tighten a particular tool. So when the spindle's on, you don't want to be pressing this brake. You'll wear it out really quickly. Additionally, you also have this back gear that will allow you for lower RPMs. So right now, this yellow light comes on and tells me that the spindle's out of range. And that's because in the low range, it only goes from 40 to 600. Removing the tool. This is really kind of a critical function in that the tool has an automatic draw bar that's going to unscrew the end of that holder. So there's threaded material going into this holder. You want to make sure that this is in the right location so that it can reach that draw bar. So the key here is to bring the quill all the way up, lock the quill tightly, because when you remove the tool by pressing out, that wrench is coming down and locking that out. When you want to put it back in, you have to line up the tabs with the keys. Keep your hands as low as possible, press in. Otherwise, you can do damage to the draw bar. So the power feed function, if you wanted to just automatically mill the top of the car. So what you would do here is locate the tool to where you want to begin the cut. And I can again do a combination of either the quill or the head. So I get my tool close to where I want to begin the cut. And I hit the power feed function. And it asks me if I wish to feed an X, Y, or Z. So I'm going to choose to feed on X and to go in a positive direction, maybe 8 inches. The other things that we need to use digital readout mode for are finding your workpiece zero. Okay, so we need to have a place to start at. So we're going to use an edge finder to accomplish that. Approach the part with it in course and then immediately go over to fine so I can get a little bit finer control for that. And then when this particular tool kicks out, I now need to enter that value. So I'm going to quickly come here, set my X to absolute 0. Move the machine 100 thousandths. So that now the center of my spindle is over the edge of the part. I'm going to complete that on the y-axis as well. Edge fender is kicked out. Set my y to 0. Move the machine 100 thousandths. Set my 0, y absolute 0. So now I've found my x and y 0. At this point here, I can simply instruct it to return to its absolute 0. Okay, I'm going to put in a 1/2 inch cutter. Press mode to get back to page 1 of the book. So those are the functions of digital readout.